All right. Can everyone hear me now? Hi. Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Kolenz, and welcome to our ITS Connect session on using Google Mail to get yourself organized and your organization organized. What we're going to be doing today is learning about the tools that are already in Google Mail. So I'm going to use a PowerPoint to kind of help us. I'm also going to show you some live shots. So to get started, just so you know, Outlook or Thunderbird or MacMail or an is our enterprise web mail client provided by Google Apps for Education. It's as a service. We use Google's use our email, and we get to this at webmail.case.edu. And some of you probably have chosen to use webmail.case.edu, which is that's what we're going to be using today to talk about the session is really so that you we're going to be covering inbox style, the major points that we're going to hit today. A basic tenet of things that you don't need right in your archive it so it doesn't appear in your inbox. The online system, you go to webmail. Styles. Let's cover this first of all. Inbox styles allow you to customize how your inbox screen through a drop-down box next to your at the PowerPoint presentation. First inbox. What does important mean? Importance is emails are going to go to the I'm sorry, if you mark them as important, they'll go. So even if something is unread first, inbox style, so all of your always go to the top, no matter their the unread stuff here. Is at top, and the little left of your email message. There's my favorite inbox style, which is the you have the everything else section. Down with the default setting on to the bottom. So that's at the very bottom. Thanks, Heidi. I'm glad you're with us. All right, so with the priority inbox, as I was saying, the default setting, if it was unimportant and unread, it would go to the everything else section. To your option, upper right-hand corner. Actually, 2 gears on your screen, but this is sections. You can choose what I've chosen in the number 1 spot, all my unread emails, no matter if they're important. Google left number 3 empty, but I can have my priority inbox organized. Your options in the priority inbox custom on top, and then unread, and then everything. Option setting, which is right here, and you can also determine how many unread emails at a time, unless I've been out. But it's totally up to you. You can have anywhere from under more options, you can start, followed by everything else. All 4 sections of the priority inbox. And here's another example. I have all my all emails I've labeled with the tag emails appear in one section. Are the organization tool that default, Google Mail comes with all mail, which is your archive. Is a label, but that's basically what. So if it has the inbox label, which you are mail folder or one of your, if it has the inbox label, so here's what you do to create a label. It's going to list all the labels that you have. Bottom of this pane, if you scroll to the bottom, show up on your screen at once. So that you can have multiple labels arrow that appears over a label in the pane, a little drop down for me, because a lot of things that I want to label come so you can customize your labels with all of those settings. So to apply a label to an actual email, there's a to the very top of the email move to. It's not only going to apply clicking on the label itself in the label pane. Don't want to open the email, you can also select the label that you want to use, or by selecting all the emails, you can then drag the label from the pane over on Thunderbird into web client versus where it is in webmail. That's why I use webmail. You probably have labels to many emails at once. a string of words or within a certain date. And it might be hard for you to see, but there's the blue or search criteria. So that's where you create them. And you have a variety of actions to choose from. So one options are you can archive it, bar them, apply a label, forward the email, delete the email, canned response. That's actually a filter to however many matching conversations from that. So if you have a whole bunch of emails regarding a project, they all have the same subject, they're all from the same person, you all those emails at once by creating a filter and checking off also apply to existing emails. That's the way that I've been able to retroactively organize a lot of my emails. A button in your open message. So if you open a message and you go to the more option to create a filter, archive it, or move it to your bulk email smart. Love this feature. Smart labels are an easy way to categorize. Smart labels are going to automatically detect emails that are notifications from forums or that qualify as bulk email, and then it labels them. By default, it's going to skip your inbox. I found when I started using this that all my emails from the daily went to my bulk folder. So what I did is I set up a filter so that my Case Daily emails don't go to the bulk label or aren't archived. They come up in my inbox so I can read them because I like to scan that email every day. So I wouldn't want to miss it because it skipped my inbox. So here's an example. They look just like all the other labels in your label forums and then notifications. So if you get an email miscategorized by Google search feature, you mark it as miscategorized by clicking the reply button in the little drop down. See the little drop down there next to that guy? There's the report miscategorization button, or add something go to bulk that's not bulk, or something to forums that's not a forum, or it as miscategorized. How to scan your email for you. You can also remove a smart label really easily. When you open the email, you'll see at the very top, if it's a smart label email, it'll have the inbox label as well as the smart label label. So you can just delete the smart label from the email by clicking. Also, if the email is closed, you can just select it and then select the not button for whatever it is, not bulk, not notification. That's the way that you can teach Google how to. Now, labs is something that I've really enjoyed too. Labs are available if you click on the option. Labs are programs being tested by. They are created by anyone in the world. That's an app. can break or disappear at any moment because they are in development. But if you want to be part of basically beta test lab, you can do that from the labs tab in your Google Mail. Some of the labs that I think are worth trying are, one, smart labels. I think that's one of the best inventions these app developers have come up with. Auto Advance determines what order to go into when you're scanning through your email one by one, opening one and clicking the next button. Okay, do you want to go backwards? Do you want to go forward? Some people go forward, some people go backwards. Then there's Can, which will send automatic, or it saves responses that you can send to if you have something coming up, like you have an RSVP coming in and you want to send the a canned response. There's also the SMS text messaging and chat feature. You're with me for our last ITS Connect presentation. We talked. There's also the unread messages icon, which will change the top of your inbox to reflect the number of unread messages. Another thing I want to talk about is alias email addresses. Now, this I think it's really good for if you want to create an alias, you can do project you're running. I use one for training emails about ITS training. Just as an example, you can create a mailing alias at list.case.edu. And if you have any question about how to use list, go to help.case.edu and type articles on how to use list.case. So once you create the alias, you'll go to the options gear, mail settings, and then the accounts tab. And there is a send mail area. So can so you would go to the options gear. So it's right up here to the right, if you can see where my cursor. Click on that. I go to mail settings. This is basically where you customize the language you use, anything you want to customize. But it's all done here. And I should mention, before I go on, because I was supposed to say this at the beginning and I didn't. So the other gear is this. This is where you can choose the density of your page, how close to. Also, there's the option still to revert to the old look. Things are different now. When they switched to the new look, I went right with it because I knew it would come with a bunch of new features. So I switched to the new look for Google Mail. So if you haven't switched to the new look yet, you might have to do that. That's where the old look, new look thing is. Right. So I'm going to go to accounts. So back to the whole idea of having an alias and adding it to your Google Mail account. Add another email address you own, but in the email alias, so whatever that email alias, you'll get an email to that alias, which will come into your box because when you set it up in the list.case.edu, you have to provide your real email address. Once you confirm that you own that address, you can set as that address from right within web, log into list.case to send an email. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation real quick. You'll see when you're allowed to send emails as someone else, you're going to see in the From box, there's a drop down. So you can click on that and select what email you're sending from. So if you're sending something on behalf of your organization and you have an also designate a reply to from settings for each of these. Other stuff you might want to try, and I'm going to skim over this real quick. Importance, you can set that up in your Google Mail settings so you can. I use the tasks pane because I like to keep track of everything I'm doing. Also the ability to create an event from an email that goes right to your Google Calendar from the content of an email. So these are all things that are going to save you time and hopefully when you didn't have this information. So some more information that I want to give to you guys. I've put the address for it in the links section. Go to this link if you want to take an interactive tour of the. Also, you can go to help.case.edu. Also, download this presentation in the file pod, and I'm going to move that into a copy of this presentation. Go ahead and download it from the file pod. Does anyone have any questions right now? I'm going to go ahead and take you guys out to a survey. If you'd fill out the survey for us, we'd really appreciate it. What you think about these ITS Connect sessions, and if you're getting any information from it that's helpful to you. In a second here, you're all going to be taken out. It is anonymous. We'd appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name's Kristen Kolenz. If you have any questions about the presentation, feel free to email Kolenz@case.edu. If you have questions about actual Google Mail and how to use it, please email help@case.edu. We have analysts on duty 24/7 that can help. So until next time, next month that is, thank you for joining me. Have an excellent afternoon.